My leadership journey began in 1990 in a mall in Jasper, Alabama. Smokey the Bear and his pal Millie, or two people dressed like them, were visiting the mall, but no children would hug them or shake their paws or go anywhere near them. The photographer for the local newspaper was getting desperate to get a portrait of camaraderie among Smokey, Millie, and a local child, and he asked my parents if I would have my picture made with these bears. They asked me, and I immediately went up to Smokey and shook his paw. Little did I know that that handshake with Smokey foretold a love for public lands and a desire for a career in the National Park Service. My life proceeded as a young person's life usually does, as I sought to answer that question that grown-ups always asked. What do you want to be when you grow up? The answer changed over the years. A cowgirl, a tiger, a Power Ranger, and Indiana Jones, just to name a few. When I graduated from high school, I believed that medical technology was the right career path for me. I quickly changed my mind when cell biology and I collided in my sophomore year. After miserable hours of looking through a microscope, I decided that I needed a career path reassessment. I began remembering how much I loved history, reading about it, talking about it with my dad, and visiting the sites where it happened. I became a history major, and after a summer-long internship at Kings Mountain National Military Park, I rediscovered what I was meant to do all along: interpretation in the National Park Service. I envision embarking on a career in interpretation in the National Park Service. I feel that it is my life's calling to connect school kids, youth, adults, seniors, everyone, to the resources in their national parks. I wish to enable them to find the ties between their lives and the people, places, and ideas protected at the parks. I want them to have fulfilling experiences that enhance their lives and help them grow as enlightened individuals. I want to develop and sustain a passion for interpretation and share that passion with others, helping them to discover the passion within themselves. I am currently a museum technician at Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area, with no chance to launch my career in interpretation on the immediate horizon. I moved to Atlanta to be with my husband while he is in school, and I had to pass up some other opportunities to remain in the area. As we all probably know, permanent positions in interpretation seem few and far between, and the economy just doesn't seem to be getting any better. I am the only staff member dedicated to the care of cultural resources in a park full of them. The museum collection here at the park is not yet in a place where it can be displayed or used for interpretive programs. So, what do? I treat this as an opportunity to grow and contribute where I am. I follow Theodore Roosevelt's advice, quote, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." I direct my passion for interpretation toward my current position in museum collections. I want to develop plans to use the collections in exhibits and educational programs on site, in the classroom, and in the virtual world. I have partnered with the Resource Education Division to do some interpretive writing, and I hope to make it a long-term partnership between that division and the Science and Resource Management Division. I'm doing interpretation in a different way and seeking to make cultural resources relevant at Chattahoochee River in the process. I understand now that a career in interpretation is a long-term vision that I can work toward gradually from exactly where I am. I can't achieve my vision alone. All great leaders have solid support teams to help them accomplish their goals. I must partner with coworkers, park volunteers, local leadership, area organizations, schools, the surrounding communities, the regional NPS support network, and many others. These individuals and organizations bring a different perspective to the table and can sometimes see issues that I and other park staff can't. This lesson is not just for me. All National Park Service staff need these people to bring concerns to our attention, to keep us accountable, and to join with us in our efforts to interpret and educate. We, in turn, must be attentive to the community conversation. We must respect the parties involved, even if their assessment differs from our own. And we must respond to the issues raised. As we all know, the National Park Service, like most other government agencies, can sometimes be cumbersome and slow to respond. We should observe the community organizations fighting for social and environmental justice around us and learn from them. Because they are local entities responding to local problems with practical solutions, they are nimble and can respond quickly to change. For the NPS, some solutions must be service-wide, but we must also realize that each park has different concerns that are unique to that site. Chattahoochee River, a park in the middle of metropolitan Atlanta, will not have the same issues and concerns as Kings Mountain or Yellowstone. Parks should harness some of the agility of those local organizations so that they can react swiftly to changing conditions to better protect their treasured resources. They must blend national and even global natural and cultural agendas with local communal responsibilities. Only in this way can we hope to remain relevant and have a hand in educating future generations. Okay, so I've got my personal vision and leadership goals figured out. I've got my colleagues and community behind me. Now what? What do we interpret, and how do we interpret it? We interpret the natural and cultural resources at the national parks, of course, but how do we interpret them in such a way as to make them relevant in the lives of visitors? This past September, I coordinated a teacher workshop at Kings Mountain National Military Park on loyalty and rebellion in South Carolina during the Revolutionary War. One of the first day's icebreaker activities involved reading primary sources and teachers taking a walk in their students' shoes, who were, in turn, putting themselves in the shoes of Revolutionary-era South Carolinians. Teachers realized what, hopefully, the students will realize, that these people who lived over 230 years ago were human beings just like them, that had to make tough decisions just like we do today about issues that were far from black and white. History is relevant because we face the same kinds of problems our ancestors did. History goes in cycles. People have always been and always will be people. We must understand the choices that they made, whether those choices involved other human beings or their natural environment. We must learn from their successes and from their mistakes, and we must apply those lessons to today's problems. Jared Diamond, author of Collapse: How Societies Choose to Fail or Succeed, provides the perfect example of this analysis at work. By studying why past civilizations collapsed, We can prevent our present society from going the way of Greece, Rome, or any number of once great empires. We can understand that the Norse practice of deforestation, one factor in that society's decline, mirrors our present practice of using up natural resources without any thought for consequence or impact. The Greenland Norse society collapsed, a cold, hard fact that our civilization would do well to learn and avoid. What if we did this kind of analysis at national parks? The modern world provides us with a variety of tools to relay our interpretive message. With ever-improving technology and lightning-fast internet connections, we can communicate and collaborate across communities, states, regions, and even countries. I advocate an interdisciplinary approach, like that championed by Milton Chen and others, that sees no issue in combining together science and history, or mathematics and English. These disciplines cross and connect naturally. They all emerge from one body of knowledge. We must meld these branches of learning into engaging, hands-on experiences that pull together many different learning styles. Unfortunately, current reality seeks to block achievement of my vision and the vision of so many other interpreters. Thanks to No Child Left Behind, most teachers do not have the time to go beyond a surface exploration of such complex issues as the Revolutionary War or climate change. They can't take their classes on an in-depth examination of the critical issues or analyze important people, places, events, and ideas. They are tasked with teaching their students how to take a test. As a result, our youth don't get the benefit of a full education that would improve their understanding and apply to their lives. The current economic situation prevents many people from visiting their national parks. Gas prices are just too high. They do not get the chance to hear those lessons echoing from the natural beauty, people, events, and ideas protected in our parks. Our country's racial and ethnic minorities are even less likely to step foot into a national park. They do not see how these areas pertain to them, or they too can't spare the money to travel. How do we respond to these daunting obstacles? We as national parks, interpreters, and educators must embrace our leadership role as, quote, branch campuses of the world's largest university. We must be responsive to the needs of our schools and communities by offering interpretive material online. Many parks now have their junior ranger programs and other natural and historical information on their websites, but we must go further. We must fully tap into all that technology has to offer. We can offer full interpretive programs online, podcasts, YouTube videos, etc. We must venture into the world of distance learning to increase our role in education. We must work with local schools to coordinate field trips. If field trips are not possible, we must to them or collaborate with teachers to write grants for transportation money. We must partner with local schools on projects that benefit both them and the park. We have already seen this happen with the First Bloom program of the National Park Foundation, but we must see more collaboration. We must expand our after-school programs to reach out to those youth who might never get the chance to experience their national parks. We must create interactive experiences that reach across disciplines to involve and impact as many visitors, actual and virtual, as possible. We must do whatever it takes to fulfill our interpretive mission to connect people to a natural and cultural story that still resonates and remains relevant today. Then, and only then, will we answer the 2011 call to action to, quote, embrace a larger education role, building an understanding of our country's shared heritage and preparing American citizens for the duties and responsibilities of citizenship.